We move now to our time of Scripture. Today's reading comes from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 18, verses 9 through 14. He also told this parable to some who trusted in themselves that they were righteous and regarded others with contempt. 2 men went up to the temple to pray, one a Pharisee and the other a tax collector. The Pharisee, standing by himself, was praying thus: God, I thank you that I am not like the other people, thieves, rogues, adulterers, or even like this tax collector. I fast twice a week. I give 1/10 of all of my income. But the tax collector, standing far off, would not even lift up his eyes to heaven, but was beating his breast and saying, God, be merciful to me, a sinner. I tell you, this man went down to his home justified rather than the other. For all who exalt themselves will be humbled, but all who humble themselves will be exalted. May God bless the hearing and understanding of this holy word.
Jeff, thank you so much for reading today. Thank you again, Board of HR, and thanks all of you that we have the privilege to minister with you. And so, give us some slack. Thank you. Do you know the popular icebreaker game, This or That? The leader asks the group simple questions, and you have to choose between two options, either like mountains or beach, Coke or Pepsi, pizza or tacos. All easy choices, isn't it? Because many people view this world as an easy divide, us and them, good or bad, winners or losers. 2 choices. Wouldn't that be easy? If there would be only 2 choices in this world. The astrophysicist, author, and science teacher Neil deGrasse Tyson tweeted, there are 2 kinds of people in the world. Those who divide everybody into 2 kinds of people, and those who don't. Now, choice is yours. Today's gospel reading could be seen as a this or that game. We hear a parable, and like any parable, this story goes beyond the obvious, or as Professor Amy Jo Levine says, a parable is mysterious. They challenge us to look into the hidden aspects of our own values, our own lives. We see 2 people in a temple. Both come to pray, but those are very different, like this or that. And before we look closer, I want to stress that this parable does not justify looking down on any leader of a religious group, as a lot of people do. So, 2 people are a Pharisee and a tax collector. The Pharisee is a religious expert, respected, honored, well-read. While the tax collector, not so much. Looked down upon and despised, because we all know that paying taxes is not much fun. But we all understand the common good. Roads need to be built, and in our cases, snow plowing, libraries, schools, and much, much more. However, during Jesus' time, tax collectors did not only collect the taxes, but they also worked very closely with the Roman rulers, and the empire imposed very high taxes. So the tax collectors are viewed as collaborators and traitors. So here we are, the highly respected, educated Pharisee, standing alone, praising God, and Jeff read what they praised. Oh God, I thank you, I am not like the other people. I can just see the dramatic in a wonderful stage play going on. There are 4 eyes, not these eyes, but eyes, in this statement. Praising himself, bragging about everything he's doing right, claiming he's going far beyond what anybody is requiring of him. The law says you should fast once a week, but that's not enough for him. He does twice. Are you impressed yet? On top of that, he tithes. He gives 10% of everything he owns, much more than the law requires. And we just say, oh, wow, come to our stewardship campaign because we need people like you. He would be a great honor and a great, great donor to have. And then there's the tax collector. Standing far away, doesn't dare to look up, and only total humility says, God, be merciful to me, a sinner. One short sentence. In the original Greek, 5 short words. No I statements. No boasting. No trying to impress God. Just a humble plea. God, be merciful to me, a sinner. This parable is unique to Luke's gospel, and I wonder, why did Luke put this parable into the gospel? Does Luke want Jesus to give us a lesson in humility? Is this a teaching moment that we shouldn't brag? But I believe this is more than that, because Jesus did not come to lecture us good behavior and manners. My mother always used to say, when you point a finger at someone else, at least 3 fingers point back at you. Anybody else's mom said that as well? Yeah. We must have all had the same wisdom moms. Thank you. And when I read this parable, I admit I am sometimes like the Pharisee. I am sorry, but I am. Because sometimes I admit, in all honesty, thank you so much for the appreciation, but there are many, many flaws that I feel sometimes superior than others as well. That I feel like boasting of all the things I do. And I can admit that I can be judgmental too, just like the person bragging. Yes, I am guilty. And this is a Jesus got you moment. I apologize if my words or if my actions have hurt anyone. I am sorry. But this parable also goes further than just about me admitting my guilt. Sadly, we observe a growing sense of superiority in public life. Their actions speak louder than words. They use violence to show their power. They believe they are better than others. They feel above the law, and their behavior openly displays it. And often, they wear masks to hide their identities so that nobody can say, it was you, it was you, it was you. And they feel proud and powerful. They engage in the game of this or that. They think they are on this side, the winning team, because they have the power. However, there's more than that in our story. I feel the main difference is how these two people approach God. Second person admits he's not perfect, recognizes his mistakes, and pleads with God for asking for mercy. Humble, vulnerable. He understands he is not God, but he relies on God. He reminds me of being in a support group, just like AA or any other support group there is. You start by admitting that you are not in charge. You confess your brokenness. You need help. You ask for mercy. And in these support groups, they're so powerful because you're surrounded by others who share their story. And there you feel trust, understanding, and support. And you know you alone can't do it. You need others. You need a community to lift you up, to walk with you. This is what the tax collector reminds me of. And I can learn from him by admitting that I'm not perfect, that I have made many mistakes, and I make them every single day, and have already done so probably this morning. I mess up a lot, and I need mercy. Then I realize that despite our mistakes, or at least my mistakes, God promises to be with us always. Because the tax collector in our story went home justified, meaning he was forgiven. God granted him mercy. God gave him a new start, and God offered him life instead of despair. And that reminds me, coming back to the old saints, that nothing, absolutely nothing, can ever prevent God's love for us. There's hope, and we are Easter people. And we live with the assurance that new life and love always wins. In our world, which is often divided between this and that, between winners and losers, where loud voices, power, and intimidating others take center stage, we need something else. Not just this or that, but what about this and that? What about if we leave it to God? Because our boxes, this or that, has boxes, and we put people into boxes. But God's love is beyond our imagination and beyond our boxes, however big, however small there might be. And if we do this, we limit God. And God's creation is much more diverse and complex. God's love is not restricted, but abundant for all. God's love is not a piece of pie, but rather the mathematical number pi, endless for all. Imagine a world where the person number one noticed the one standing in the corner. Imagine if he approaches him and invites him to stand up front, because we know that there's enough space before God. And imagine then if person number two could share what it feels to face discrimination and to seek a place at God's table. Imagine the honest conversation, the shared brokenness, and the discovery of humanity amongst all. And now imagine you are part of the story. What is your role in creating this and that?